Hello and welcome to Tonic Studios. My name is Alison and today I'd like to share with you a little project using the Country Garden Milk Churn set. So this is what I've made. It could be a little card, but I've made it into a little gift card that you can pop some seeds into. So they're little sunflower seeds in there from my garden. So how do we make it? I also wanted to show what you can do with the set if you've run out of shakers and you haven't got any more. Let's have a little look. So let's make a start. So I've got a piece of our pearlescent card, and from the die set I'm going to take the main milk churn die. On the back of this card, I'm going to pop some double-sided sticky sheet. So let me find the corner. Oh, here we go. Can never get the corner when you want it, can you? Bear with. Here's my scissors. Let's cut the corner a little bit and see if I can get a better corner. I think it's too super sticky today. There we go. Right, so I'm going to pop this onto the back there. And then just trim around the outside. There we go. Now I've forgotten to bring my sticky tape, so I'm going to use this as sticky tape. So pop your die in place. Then I'm going to stick it in place using the adhesive sheet. But obviously you would be using a piece of the non-sticky tape. There we are. So there's the first part cut. Now I want to cut an aperture into the middle. So I'm going to use the same piece of tape if I can. I don't think I'm going to be able to. There we are. Take the back off here. And I'm going to pop the aperture into the centre. This is the aperture you would be using if you're making the normal shakers. So pop it on the top, line it up so that the edges are roughly the same and you're just underneath the crease, your first crease of your milk churn. So just to hold this in place, a little bit of tape. There we go. I wanted to show you this. I don't often do a lot of die cutting, but I just wanted to show a different way of using our adhesives and things when we make cards. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I've got a little bit of tape there that is going to be okay because that's my waist. The other thing I want to do a bit of debossing on the top. So we've got a die in here that just makes a pattern. It doesn't cut anything out, but it does leave a lovely pattern. So I'm going to pop that in place and I'm putting this just between the two lines. So make sure it's nice and straight. And then stick it down. On pearlescent card, this comes out perfectly. There we go. And I'll take my tape off. As I say, you'll be using a better tape than me for this. So that is the front of my milk churn, all done ready. Why have I put tape, double-sided tape on the back of it? The reason being is because I'm going to stick it to acetate. And acetate is a little bit tricky to stick to and a little bit tricky to glue. And I want a nice, I don't want any gaps in it because I don't want my seeds popping out. So now the question is, where's the acetate? It's always the same, isn't it? So there's my acetate. I've already run it through with the dye. It's a little bit difficult to see. Your dye is never going to cut acetate. This is actually the packaging that we've used on our dyes. So just snip around, follow the lines. It'll give you a lovely indent. Don't worry about the handles on the side. You can just chop those off. And then follow the top. So just going round. Again, make it as easy as you can. Handles are going to be chopped off. There we go. And that is my acetate backing. So I'm going to take the double-sided tape backing off. If you don't have any of these sheets, you could go around it with the double-sided sticky tape and just trim off the excess. So I'm going to try and do this. Let's bring that in and maybe you'll be able to see it. No, that's even worse. So you can see the sheen there. So I'm just popping this on the top. If you've got any bits of acetate, when you've stuck it all down, that are sticking outside your milk churn, just get a scissors and trim them. It'll be absolutely fine. You'll still have enough acetate in the middle to make your shaker. So I've got a little bit that's gone awry on this side. So we'll trim that off. Okay. So I want to put a little bit of ink on here. I want to make it a little bit vintage. Excuse me. So I have got our acorn brown. And I've got a teeny tiny little brush. Because I want to go into areas. So I want to go around the edge. And I'm just dragging the brush in. A little bit on the handles. And again around the top. Because I think the vintage, the milk churn gives you that vintage feeling anyway. So just around the handles and around the edge. There we go. Now the other thing I want to put a little bit on is this deboss, because I want that area to pop a bit more. So go across it lightly and you'll see it'll bring out the area of deboss a bit more. And I'm just going to go on the edge of the acetate there. So that's our little milk churn all inked up, ready to go. What have we got next? Onto the back of this, I've done exactly the same but in white, and instead of putting the double-sided acetate, double-sided sticky sheet onto the back of the die cut, it's on the front because I want it to go onto the acetate but in the opposite direction. Yeah, these corners are a little difficult to find today. So we need to line this up because obviously we can't be chopping this off. So we're just having a little look where the edges are. Oops. Start with your handles maybe, because they are always going to be the same. There we go. And then feed the rest around. So you can't see any of the white. I've done exactly the same. I think I've done roughly 10. There's no acetate in here, it's just empty. I think I've done about 10 layers there and I've just glued them all together. So we're going to glue that onto the back here. Let's have a little bit of glue. Our trusty deluxe adhesive. A little bit all the way around. The thickness, the amount of die cuts you're going to need to do here are going to depend on how big your seeds are. These sunflowers are fairly big seeds, but yours may be even bigger. There we go, so line everything up. We've got glue on here now, so we've got a little bit of wiggle room. And we've glued that in place. Now my last one going on, I've got adhesive again, but the adhesive this time is going to face outwards because I'm going to press that onto the backing plate. The reason I've used adhesive is because it gives an overall stick. It's sticky everywhere on here. Didn't really need to take that off yet. But never mind, we've done it now. So I'm going to glue it this way. Make sure you've got plenty of adhesive to the edges. Pop the last one on. So the adhesive now, the adhesive sheet is facing me. And then we've got glue underneath. Give it a little press. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it onto that. Okay. So the edges of this now are looking quite white and not at all vintage. So I'm going to go around with my brush. This is one of the reasons I've chosen a really small brush. And then I'm going to go around the edges. When you're doing all your layers as well, you're never going to line them up exactly. So you are going to get a little bit of a bump on some of them. So go in between the handles. Bring your inking in. Around the top. And around the sides. So again, in the handle. I love these little brushes. They're perfect for this sort of thing. There we are, last side done. So that is the main part of our milk churn done. So my base, I've used the larger die, and this is a shadow die for the main milk churn. So I've taken that and cut it into brown mirror card, brown pearlescent card. And I've also made, oh, I did have tape as well. I've made one where I've popped the top line, I've put over the fold of the card. So if I show you there, you don't want that top line to cut. So when it's in the die, it's just, your fold line is just below that top fold. And we'll glue these together. There we go. That's that. Again, if you wanted to, you could ink around the edges, but it's not necessary. So I've got some sunflower seeds. We're just going to pop some of these. Don't overfill it because you'll find that the shaker part will just pop off. We'll pop them in the middle. I've just been chopping down all my sunflowers, so they're all drying now, the seeds. So we're going to position this now, because it's already sticky, with a tiny brown border around the edge. And give it a little bit of a wiggle room. Pop in any loose ones. And give it a press all the way around to make sure everything is stuck. There we go. So that's our seeds all in place. And then we've got a little bit of decorating then to do. This is a lovely little gift to give children because they love planting the seeds afterwards. I mean, sunflowers have always amazed me. So what have we got here? I've got some little bits to decorate. So there's a little die in the set, and it does look a little bit strange. Let me have a look. It looks like, they almost look like stalks. They can be used as stalks, and the sunflowers can sit on top. But I've used it as a little string tie around the top of the milk churn. So sometimes we see different things in our dies. Go with it. If you see something different, you go with it. So we'll pop that in place. There we are. Fits the top of this perfect. Then what have I got next? I've got a sunflower that I'm going to pop on the bottom, because obviously it's a sunflower set. So we'll pop a foam pad there. There we are. I've got another little sunflower which I'm going to put on the top. Oh, let's put a foam pad, I think. There we are, there's another one. I've got a tiny little heart. All these come in the set. Everything I've used here is in the set. So I'm going to put that with a little tie of baker's twine. I'm going to pop my glue gun on. So I'm going to tie a little bow. Ready to go. There we go. So that's going to sit there. We'll wait for this to heat up. And I've also got a little tag that says Flower Market. So that is going to pop behind my sunflower. So I'm going to put glue behind there. Tuck that in. And then we'll pop this in place. Little tiny bit of glue. My glue gun has been a bit testy today. There we are. So I'll pop that on top of your heart and hold that in place. And there is our little seed tag. Hopefully you've enjoyed this make. Don't forget, tag us in your makes. Join us again soon. Bye.